Hey guys, and welcome back to another video for Alex's Flying Club. Today I'm in a DHC-2 Beaver, and I'm in the flight simulator Microsoft FSX, and we're going to be doing a flight of Kenmore Air. As you can see, that's what it says on the livery. This is one of the two liveries that comes with FSX. That is Kenmore Air. This one's the Beaver, as I mentioned, and there's one more for the Cessna 208 Caravan. And I did a little bit of research on Kenmore Air, and it's a pretty cool airline, so I might be doing quite a few of these flights in the Pacific Northwest, which is the area that they serve. So here I'm doing some preliminary checks on the Beaver. And our flight today is going to be from Kenmore Air Harbor to Friday Harbor. It's going to be about a 40-minute flight. I will edit the video to speed it up a bit. And I'm using the real world weather function in FSX. So as you'll see in this flight, we're going to run into some fog and overcast conditions, which is kind of nice because that's what I think of when I think of the Pacific Northwest. So it was we ran into some typical flying conditions, which as we'll see, made me fly pretty low to the ground so that I could actually see the water and see all the features. I don't know if that's the correct procedure for VFR flying, if you do run into fog and low clouds, but that's what I did, and it was pretty fun. So, yeah. And when you start in this airport, I think the designation for it in FSX is S60, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, S60. Sierra, what is it? I always forget what S stands for in the aviation alphabet. Anyways, so you start on one of the runways, not actually in the harbor, and I'm not sure if they did model the harbor in the default scenery. I think they do in an add-on you can get called Orbex Pacific Northwest, but next time I'll be sure to kind of start on this water runway and then try to go a little bit north to see if I can swim the Beaver into the harbor and see if they have a dock there for Kenmore Air. I think that this aircraft is a lot of fun to fly. I was pleasantly surprised that it's one of the default aircraft that comes with FSX, because before, when I was just flying Flight Simulator 2004, I was looking to get this aircraft, and I know Airsoft has a version which is okay. It's a bit outdated now, but this stock aircraft suits me just fine. It's really fun to hand fly, especially. I realized with the Grumman Goose, I really do like it, but I just enjoy hand flying the Beaver more. Maybe it's because of the way the cockpit looks, or because how the aircraft behaves, but I will be flying the Goose in my next video, which I've already recorded. I just had to do the narration for it right after this one. But yeah, I'll talk about the Goose in the next video, so I won't get into it here. And we're just flying a simple flight plan to one VOR, and then we're going to track a radial from that VOR, which is Charlie Victor Victor. And we're going to track a 306-degree radial for 20 miles from that VOR to get to Friday Harbor. I've listed this video under my bush flying series. I don't actually know if Kenmore Air technically qualifies as bush flying. Let me wait until this air traffic control communication finishes.
Copy, Kenmore 123.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm not sure if lost my train of thought. Yeah, okay. So if this is actually qualifying as bush flying, they do fly the Beaver. They have twin otters in their inventory. They have the one Caravan, I believe, maybe more than that. They have some Piper Super Cubs for training, and a few other aircraft, but it's primarily the Beaver and the Turbo Beaver and the Twin Otter. So that kind of fleet reminds me a lot of, like, you know, the kinds of airplanes they have in Alaska and things like that. So I will classify these videos under bush flying. And yeah, Kenmore Air is, like I mentioned, is an interesting airline. They started in 1946, and they've been serving this area around Seattle, Vancouver, and all these kind of islands and peninsulas around the Pacific Northwest. And the cool thing about, you know, these flights in particular is that a company called Orbex has a lot of add-on scenery for this region. One of their more popular add-ons is Orbex Pacific Northwest, and they also have one called Orcas Island, which is one of the few airports that Kenmore Air flies into. So one of these days I'll get around to purchasing those sceneries, and look forward to flying around them in the Beaver, the Caravan, and the Cub, and the Cessna 185 bush plane that I also have from Coronado. But actually, no, now that I thought of this, that one wouldn't work, the Coronado plane, because that's for Flight Simulator 2004. And Orbex also has a bunch of freeware sceneries, freeware airports in this region. So I think I'll start with those and see how my computer handles the add-on scenery in terms of frame rates. I think here I was showing how I'm tracking the VOR, and we're getting pretty close to the VOR. Or actually, we might have passed it already. So I'm flying the 306 radial now, and even though the VOR shows us a little bit left of our course, that's because we're really close to the VOR. We're about 3 nautical miles away, and as you get further away, the needle will come back to center. It's just when you're really close, you don't want to chase the needle. When you're close to the VOR, you want to wait until you want to fly your heading, and then wait until you get a little further away to correct your heading, in case you are a little bit off course. And here we ran into some fog, and this is where I'll decide to descend. And I am descending now, because I fast forwarded a little bit. And we're going to get to about 500 feet and fly right above the water. And I did this flight entirely manually. I never turned on the autopilot. I've been listening to this great podcast called Airline Pilot Guy, where it's Captain Jeff, who's a real airline pilot for a major U.S. carrier. He talks about aviation and his experience with flying, and just answers a lot of feedback from people that have questions about flying. And one of the things he talks a lot about is pilots have to keep up their manual flying skills and turn off that autopilot. And that's influenced me a lot, because I have gotten into the habit of always kind of flying on autopilot. And now I'm enjoying, just the basics, the fundamentals, keeping the plane on the correct heading, keeping the altitude constant. And it's its own kind of challenge. Of course, I wouldn't want to do a flight like that for 2 hours, but a 30-minute flight is okay. It's nice practice, I think. Okay, so we're approaching Friday Harbor. I actually didn't know where to land, and I didn't even know where Friday Harbor Airport was. But it does not have a waterway, so I'm just going to land somewhere in this harbor and then pull up to some kind of land. There wasn't any dock that I could see. I am going to overfly the airport and make a loop to land into the wind. I think I flew a little bit too low here. I don't know if pilots would actually fly this low or even this close to the airport in this circumstance. There's a nice couple of videos by a very young guy on YouTube that he made of Kenmore Air flights, pretty much, just like this one that I did. And I'll put a link to his first video in that series below. And he seems to live in the area of Kenmore Air and had a few cool details about the airline. Like one of the things he mentioned was the pilots, when they're landing on water and they're taxiing up to the dock, they'll actually turn their engine off and then kind of swing the airplane around on its own momentum to park near the dock, which I thought was kind of cool because I did a little bit of sailing in college, and that's how we would park our sailboats to the dock. We'd sail right up to the with our sails. We'd sail right up to the dock, kind of on a parallel course, a little bit to the left or to the right of it, and then we'd let our sail go so they would just flap in the wind and quickly turn our sailboat around so that we'd use the momentum to pull up to the dock. So here I'm on the approach to land. I have full flaps lowered. I don't know if that's the correct procedure. There are a few labels on the flaps notches, and the one on landing I think is the second to last notch. So I'm not sure if pilots actually do full flaps on landing, but that's what I did here. This aircraft is nearly impossible to taxi with the water rudder up, so you want to lower that after landing. There's the water rudder. And once it is lowered, the aircraft is very sensitive to rudder inputs. And I'm not going to be very successful with this first attempt at the docking maneuver. Okay, so that's where I cut my engine. I'm gonna do a quick exterior view of the aircraft, and I'll stop my narration right here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be posting another video right after this one, pretty much. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next time.